Yo guys, what is up? This is Dylan, aka Christian Deputy, and today I have my weekly recap for week 1. This is going to be the first of 2 videos. This is for the first group of 16 players. In the future, I am going to be combining the power rankings and this video together, just as I feel like I repeat myself often with things I said in the power rankings video here. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I did make a mistake here with my game. Garchomp did faint, so it should be at -1 on the screen, since it did go down to its own life orb recoil. But aside from that, my game against the Toneleaf Town Tauros, I did manage to take a 5-0 victory. As you can see, I went ahead and brought Tapu Koko, Slowbro, Tornadus Therian, Garchomp, Arcanine, and Mega Abomasnow, and my opponent brings Clefable, Ferrothorn, Mandibuzz, Gigalith, Mega Garchomp, and Delphox. Turn 1, the Garchomp is able to get a big Earthquake off on the Clefable, which, I mean, in my opinion, right, like you have a Mandibuzz in the back, and unless you were offensive Clefable, you weren't going to be knocking out this Garchomp, and you were still going to take a lot of damage to where, you know, everything could just come and revenge kill you for free. So I feel already I got a lot of value from this first turn. You know, I click Life Orb Earthquake and the Clefable takes 80% of its health, which just allows it, again, like everything, to just knock it out with any 2 hits. So after that, he decides, okay, yeah, I need to go into my Mandibuzz as I click Stealth Rock, and then just Stone Edge. He defogs on my Stone Edge as I Stealth Rock again, and he roosts, and then I just Stone Edge to knock myself out with Life Orb as he roosts on that last Stone Edge, so he is at full. I then go with Tapu Koko to try and pressure this Mandibuzz with a Thunderbolt, and of course he goes Gigalith, which I expected, you know, either Gigalith or Ferrothorn to come in, so it takes a nice 30%, and then I go ahead and click Volt Switch as he goes Ferrothorn, and here I can just go into Abomasnow, make sure he can't click any like Leech Seed, or, you know, pressure him to leave expecting my Hidden Power Fire attack, which he does do. He goes into his Clefable, you know, trying to let it live, the combination of Hidden Power and then try and like soft boiled, but I do carry Ice Shard this week, so I'm able to knock out that Clef, so now he doesn't really have anything that wants to come in on it. He goes Gigalith as I go Slowbro, and he makes a nice double into Delphox, which was revealed to be Specs later in the game. So, I mean, me not knowing that, right, I didn't want to risk my Slowbro just yet, so I go Tornadus on the Shadow Ball, which then reveals that it is Specs damage, so I just click U-turn on it as he goes Ferrothorn, and again I go back into my Abomasnow to get rid of the sand and put my own hell up. So here he doesn't really have to switch in, but it is revealed that it is Occaberry, so he takes that Hidden Power Fire really well, and his Gyro Ball does 32% to me, right, so then it's knocked out by the hail as he goes Garchomp. Mega Evolves and clicks Fire Fang into my Slowbro. Here, I just decide to click Teleport, expecting something else to want to come in. And so I go Tapu Koko just to click the electric move against it as he goes Gigalith. Right, so again, it takes another nice 31%. And then I'm able to knock it out with a Volt Switch. Gigalith goes down, I go back into Slowbro, since the only things that really want to try and beat it are like Mandibuzz and Delphox, so I could just click Trick Room on what was his defog, and then I click Teleport to go into my Mega Abomasnow, potentially, yeah, so he clicks U-turn and goes into his Delphox, so it's not in range of my Abomasnow yet, so I decide to go Arcanine, so I click Flare Blitz as he switches into Mandibuzz. So I just decide to click Teleport and go and knock it out with Ice Beam from Abomasnow. And then again he goes back into Delphox. I go into Tornadus to tank another Spec Shadow Ball. I was expecting a fire move, but it's fine. I just click U-turn, go into Arcanine, and then sack it by clicking Teleport as he hard switches out probably expecting me to be extreme speed. Right, so I teleport into Slowbro, click Trick Room as he earthquakes, and then I just teleport back into Mega Bomb Snow and get the rest of the knockouts with it with 2 Ice Beams. Next, we have the Sandwood City Quagsires against the Jacksonville County Jolteons, who do take a 3-0 victory against their opponent. They go ahead and bring Single Strike Urshifu, Mega Pinsir, Metagross, Moltres, Nidoqueen, and Jargon, as their opponent brings Tapu Bulu, Megalopoly, Jolteon, Flygon, Bronzong, and Skuntank. So, turn 1, they lead Druddigon into Skuntank as Skuntank clicks Toxic, and then Druddigon just trades Stealth Rock for the chip. After that, they switch into their Bronzong as it gets paralyzed by a Glare. Toxic damage racking up. Goes Metagross into a Stealth Rock. They're just trading rocks at this point, and then Sandwood City Quagsires attempt to set up their Agility Weakness Policy Metagross with Brick Break. So it wasn't really able to break through Skuntank. Maybe if it had a little bit of chip, it would have been better, but it is able to knock it out with 3 Brick Breaks. But then it's knocked out by the Aftermath from Skuntank. So then, on this turn, they go ahead and just bring in Urshifu and Jolteon. It is revealed that Urshifu is Scarfed, and it knocks out the Jolteon, and then a strange play from the Jolteons. They go Bronzong into a Wicked Blow locked Urshifu, right, who's then just immediately knocked out. So they go into Bulu after this, as the Quagsires go into their Druddigon to tank the Woodhammer, make sure it takes Rough Skin, and then the recoil from the Woodhammer. So, pretty sure he just wanted to sack it here, so he clicks a Glare, and then a Flygon that comes in, gets paralyzed, then it just goes Sucker Punch and lets itself get knocked out. Really doesn't need to do anything else at that point. Goes back into Urshifu, clicks Wicked Blow, and then he goes back into Tapu Bulu. Really nice read where he clicks Rock Slide into the incoming Moltres, but it does live on just 1%, and then it is knocked out by a Flamethrower. Megalopoly comes in to revenge the Moltres, as Urshifu comes in after to knock it out with a Scarfed Close Combat. So Urshifu able to pick up 4 knockouts there. Metagross and Moltres 1 each, and then for the Jolteons, Lopunny, Flygon, and Skuntank are all able to pick up 1 knockout for their team. So here we have the third game, which is the Empire of the Hand against the LA Venusaurs. So the Empire brings Mega Diancie, Empoleon, Thundurus T, Sableye, Alakazam, and Relicanth, as the Venusaurs bring Tapu Lele, Rapid Strike Urshifu, Mega Swampert, Galarian Whizzing, Pelipper, and Delmise. So, turn 1, the Venusaurs lead Urshifu against the Thundurus, who just clicks Thunderbolt into a Delmise, doing close to 20%. And then after that, the Empire just go ahead and go into their Empoleon to click an Ice Beam and tank a knockoff from the Delmise. And then, unfortunately for the Venusaurs, they forget that Poltergeist doesn't work if the opponent doesn't have an item. So they just take that Ice Beam for free and do no damage. But then they go into their Swampert to tank the second Ice Beam, who then just, the Empire lets their Empoleon go down to an Earthquake after. So they go Sableye, attempting to burn the Swampert, but they do switch out and go into their Weezing, who gets burnt, as it just clicks Strange Steam into the Relicanth. Some really strange plays there, just, letting your Empoleon go down like that, when again you have that Sableye to just recover up. So here it's just the Relicanth hitting itself as the Weezing is damaging it with Strength Steam and a Will-O-Wisp that went onto it. And then So the Empire goes into their Alakazam and clicks Nasty Plot onto another strange theme and just goes ahead and knocks it out with an expanding force as his opponent goes into what is now revealed a Scarf Urshifu and knocks it out with the Surging Strikes. The Empire goes back into their Thundurus, who is more than likely also Scarfed at this point, and clicks Volt Switch, going into their Diancie and knocking out the Dhelmise with a, Power Gem. So here, the Venusaurs go back into their Urshifu, getting the Surging Strikes off on the Thundurus, who then clicks Grass Knot, catching the Swampert on the switch end. So that gets a knockout there as they go Pelipper, and then they just click Grass Knot again to sack it to the Pelipper as it clicks Weather Ball. Here they go back into the Sableye, who tanks a Sun Boosted Weather Ball now, since it doesn't change the weather with Sunny Day. Clicks Recover, and then Tapu Lele is able to get 2 knockouts off with 2 Moon Blasts in succession against the Sableye and Mega Diancie. So you can see here, Mega Diancie, Thundurus, Therian, and Alakazam are all able to get 1 knockout each. And then on the Venusaurs team, Tapu Lele is able to pick up 2 knockouts, while Urshifu, Swampert, Weezing, and Pelipper are all able to get 1 for themselves. For the next game, we have the Galarian Gallade against the Saffron Stabilize. They are able to take a 2-0 victory against the Stabilize, and they go ahead and bring their Ash Greninja, Magnezone, Tangrowth, Darmanitan, Vaporeon, Avalugg against their opponents Galarian Darmanitan, Mega Scizor, Rotom Wash, Colossal, and Absol, and Venusaur. Turn 1, they lead Darmanitan into Rotom Wash, who at this point takes 35% from just a U-turn and then Volt Switch out. You know, they both just wanted to get out of there, didn't really want to be doing anything. So the Gallades go into their Tangrowth, as the Sableyes go into their Galarian Darmanitan, who is able to click Icicle Crash onto a Vaporeon that is coming in. Goes ahead and clicks Icicle Crash again on the flip turn from Vaporeon, and then goes into Avalugg. So then they switch out, and Colossal takes a massive body press from that Avalugg, heals up a little bit off of the leftovers, clicks Heat Crash, and Vaporeon takes a solid 26% as it clicks Wish, and the Colossal clicks Stealth Rock, more than likely expecting a Protect instead. But, you know, the Vaporeon is able to heal back up as they go into Venusaur, and then Vaporeon just flip turns out on a Toxic, going into their Avalugg. So they go back into Colossal on a Rapid Spin, you know, getting rid of those rocks. Here he probably just wants to get his rocks back up as the Avalugg recovers. Then it clicks Toxic on the Colossal's Heat Crash that literally only does 12%. So then as they switch out into their Scizor, they click Rapid Spin again, getting rid of those rocks again, and then it clicks Swords Dance, Acrobatics onto a Tangrowth that comes in instead of, you know, do a Wing Beat. So they tank that Acrobatics, switch out, go into their Avalugg. They take Rocky Helmet damage as well as Leech Seed damage against that Avalugg, who then knocks it out with a Body Press. Unfortunately, as they go Darmanitan, they miss their Icicle Crash on a 2% Avalugg, and instead of recovering, they just click Toxic. You know, if they would have been able to keep the Avalugg healthy, it would have been a really big issue, as it was before. But luckily for the Sableyes, they don't miss the second Icicle Crash and are just able to knock it out. Then they should just stay in, you know, clicking Icicle Crash against the Vaporeon, trying to get some flinches. And then they just do it again against the opposing Darmanitan, who takes a solid amount of damage and then is knocked out by a U-turn. So here, the Magnezone comes in, clicks Thunderbolt on a Colossal, who clicks Stealth Rock, you know, instead of just knocking it out with Fire Attack. Magnezone is able to just, you know, Thunderbolt literally everything before they go into the Venusaur. You know, they go Rotom first, It takes a solid 63%, just to volt switch, and then finally, as everything is either dead or at no percentage health, right they go Venusaur, click Giga Drain, who was then knocked out by Darmanitan's Flare Blitz, knocking itself out with the recoil, and then just to clean up the game, they go into their Tangrowth, who is crit by a Shadow Ball, and yeah, instead of just going Greninja, right, who is faster and knocks it out. But yeah, so that's that game. Greninja able to pick up 1 knockout there at the end. Magnezone able to pick up 2. Darmanitan also able to pick up 2, and Avalugg picked up 1 knockout for itself. And on the opposing side, Darmanitan, or Galarian Darmanitan, is able to pick up a knockout for itself, as is Rotom Wash and Venusaur. So, of course, since their opponent did knock themselves out with a Life Orb, nothing on their team is able to claim that knockout. So, that was that game. Next game, we have the Chicas against the Kansas City Chicas, who do take a commanding 6-0 victory, bringing their Celesteela, Latias, Volcarona, Seismitoad, Clefairy, and Mega Sableye, as the Chicas bring Excadrill, Hydreigon, Sylveon, Salazzle, Swampert, and Galvantula. So, turn 1 leads, we have Galvantula against the Mega Sableye, who just chooses to Mega Evolve into a Volt Switch, maybe expecting, you know, Sticky Web or something. Didn't want to have to deal with that, just click Snarl into the Sylveon that comes in, right? So Sylveon clicks Hyper Voice on the Celesteela that comes in against it, and it just clicks Earthquake, more than likely expecting either, you know, Excadrill or Salazzle to want to come in on a Heavy Slam. So yeah, they go into the Swampert, take the Earthquake, and then switch out again back into their Swampert to take a Heavy Slam, expecting the Giga Drain, which they do read really well, and then they just go back into the Swampert again on the Heavy Slam to get rocks up, but this time the Celesteela is able to just click Giga Drain on the Rindleberry Swampert, so it does get to live and keep the rocks. But here they just click Rock Slide and are, well, they flinch the Celesteela first, but on the second Rock Slide they are able to click Giga Drain again, knock it out, and gain that first special defense boost. Here the Chicas go into their Hydreigon, who will take a very damaging Heavy Slam there. They click Substitute just to go down below 25% to activate their Salac Berry, and then on a Fire Blast they do unfortunately miss, which, you know, makes the Celesteela lose a lot of damage on it for something else to come and revenge kill, and then it also is able to get that second special defense boost. So from here, you know, his opponent can't really deal with it anymore. Clicks Flamethrower on Galvantula's Thunder just to get a burn, even though, you know, it really didn't matter. It was going to get knocked out by the next one anyway, unless I got a crit. So takes another Thunder on a Giga Drain just to heal a little bit. Salazzle does click Flamethrower to try and knock it out, which it is unable to do. Goes Sylveon clicking Mystical Fire, doing only 8%. Heavy Slam knocks it out. And then we have Excadrill trying to be the lone hero, right? Clicks Rock Slide, does a solid 21% as it takes in Earthquake. But here, the Cherrim save there. Celesteela going Clefairy to reflect on the Rock Slide, take an Earthquake, and then go back into Seismitoad just to knock it out with an Earthquake. So, as you see, Celesteela is able to get 5 knockouts, you know, with you know, a little bit of luck, but you know, we don't know their sets either, so we don't know how much that Fire Blast could have done. So 5 knockouts for the Celesteela and 1 knockout on the Seismitoad against the Excadrill at the end there, and the Chicas are unable to get a single knockout for this game. Next, we have the PKS Shadow Ballers against the Toronto Razorleafs. The Shadow Ballers are able to pick up a 1-0 victory, as they bring Melmetal, Mega Slowbro, Hatterene, Alolan Marowak, Komodo, and Porygon 2. And their opponents go ahead and bring Rillaboom, Volcanion, a Mega Heracross, Araquanid, Skarmory, and Meowstic. So the Razorleafs go ahead and lead Rillaboom into the Porygon 2, who just U-turn out into the Komodo that comes in, fearing a potential knockout, or not knockout, knock off, right? So the Porygon doesn't lose the item. So they click U-turn and go into their Mega Heracross, who just go ahead and Mega Evolve and click Close Combat on an Iron Defense. So it does take a solid amount of damage before it heals up with the combination of the leftovers as well as the grassy terrain, as the Mega Heracross sets up a Swords Dance, takes a Body Press that does a lot of damage and then just switches out, which is very strange. So then the Skarmory comes in and it is knocked out by the combination of 2 Body Press. And then Volcanion comes in to try and revenge kill it. Clicks Steam Eruption and it is able to knock it out in 2 hits before taking 68% of its health from the Body Press. Como gets knocked out. In comes Porygon 2 to click Trick Room into the Araquanid switch in, who then trade a Tri-Attack for a Toxic. Araquanid is slower, I believe. Oh no, okay. The Porygon is able to click Teleport going into the Hatterene, and the Araquanid is just sitting there clicking Leech Life. It is knocked out by a critical hit Psyshock, but then Rillaboom is able to come in, get the knockout on the Hatterene with a Wood Hammer, as the Melmetal comes in. More than likely just banded, but it does get a critical hit on the Meowstic. I don't think it mattered though, it was going to be knocked out by the Double Iron Bash. So, on that knockout, this opponent goes Volcanion, clicks Fire Blast into the Porygon 2, and then here they get an unfortunate miss against the Porygon 2, who is able to set up Trick Room. And then I believe it just clicks Teleport, but Volcanion is able to knock it out before it gets out. Marowak comes in, clicks the Ghost Attack as it misses into the Rillaboom, who is able to reset the terrain. Does get knocked out by the next Flare Blitz. The Volcanion is also knocked out by the Poltergeist after. Heracross comes in, clicks Rock Blast on the incoming Melmetal, wanting to preserve his Marowak, and then it's knocked out by a Close Combat afterwards. It was a critical hit, which could have mattered, but Mega Heracross is really strong. Then goes Slowbro, Mega Evolves to attempt to tank a Pin Missile from the Mega Heracross, which it does at 9% health. Clicks Trick Room, Scald, gets knocked out, and then just goes Marowak and claims the knockout on the Heracross there at the end. Melmetal, Hatterene, and Komodo are all able to pick up a knockout for themselves, as Alolan Marowak is able to pick up 3. And then for the Razorleafs, Volcanion and Mega Heracross are both able to pick up 2 knockouts for themselves, as Rillaboom picks 1 up. Next, we have the San Francisco Scissors against the Golden State Wartortles. The Scissors go ahead and bring Zeraora, Mega Altaria, Celebi, Doublade, Cryogonal, and Alolan Golem, as the Wartortles bring Kingdra, Politoed, Mamoswine, Eldegoss, Corviknight, and Weezing. So, second to last game here. The Scissors lead Celebi into the Wartortles Eldegoss, who just clicks Pollen Puff, which is really interesting. That could have been able to knock it out. Really nice bring, as they switch in their Mega Altaria. Altaria is able to just click Hyper Voice onto the Weezing that comes in to try and tank it, but then goes down to the next Draco Meteor. So Altaria is able to pick up the knockout there. The Wartortles go ahead and bring in their Politoed to bring the rain in. Click Icy Wind, but the Scissors go ahead and bring in their Cryogonal there. Click Knockoff just to try and get rid of an item. And then they just click Freeze Dry instead of switching out. as the War Turtles just go ahead and click U-turn. Really strange here. I think they just forgot that Cryogonal had Levitate or something, because they click Earthquake onto it. You know, the U-turn brings Mamoswine in, and then it clicks Earthquake against it, but since it is immune because of Levitate, it wasn't able to do damage as the Cryogonal clicks Rapid Spin. It resets its speed. They then click Flash Cannon onto the incoming Politoed, and then click Freeze Dry again as the Politoed does get frozen, but it does click Scald and is able to knock it out. So, after this, the Scissors send in their Mega Altaria, and you know, the War Turtles, not wanting to lose their Rain Surge just yet, go into Eldegoss, who takes that very well. They then try to knock it out with a Draco Meteor, but it does switch into their Corviknight, which then misses, so it isn't able to take advantage of that -2 special attack drop. The War Turtles, fearing a Fire Blast coming from the Mega Altaria, go ahead and switch back into their Politoed to set the rain and make that fire attack really weak. Who then just click Hyper Voice again, which is able to knock out the Corviknight at the range it was at. So Altaria is able to get another knockout there. After the Corviknight goes down, Mamoswine goes ahead and comes in as the Scissors switch in their Alolan Golem to tank the ice attack. Then the Scissors go ahead and just click Explosion on the Eldegoss, who is knocked out with a critical hit attack. They did mention later in the day that the Golem was banded, so maybe it didn't matter, but you know, that happens. So the Golem is able to knock it out with that explosion. They go ahead and bring Celebi in as the War Turtles bring their Mamoswine in. So the Mamoswine clicks Icicle Crash, which then reveals the Celebi to be Yachi Berry, so it tanks that very well as it knocks out the Mamoswine with the Leaf Storm. So in comes Kingdra, and expecting the ice attack, the Scissors go into their Doublade first, and then they just go ahead and click the ice attack again as they wanted to reset their rain before going into their Politoed, as the Doublade clicks Swords Dance and then knocks it out with a Sacred Sword. So after that, Kingdra comes in, clicks Surf to Revenge Kill as it tries to do its best to knock out the Mega Altaria, but it is just knocked out by a Hyper Voice from it. So our Mega Altaria is able to get 3 knockouts for itself, and then Celebi, Doublade, and Alolan Golem all share 1. And on the opposing team, only Kingdra and Politoed get knockouts as, again, the Golem exploded, so nothing takes the credit for that knockout. And then last, we have the Falcon Punch against the Fuchsia City Fletchenders, who do take a 1-0 victory for themselves, bringing Gliscor, Heatran, Latios, Gastrodon, Superior, and Ice Cube against their opponents Dragapult, Tapu Fini, Grimmsnarl, Galarian, Slowbro, Claydol, and Kartana. So they do lead Superior against his opponents Grimmsnarl. Just click Leaf Storm, get that boost in against that Dragapult, who clicks Fly on a Leech Seed. Of course, that does miss just because it can't be targeted, so they go ahead and switch into their Gliscor to activate their Poison Heal with the Toxic Orb. Click Toxic on the Galarian Slowbro, who comes in and is unaffected, who then clicks Surf on the switch into Latios. Here, the Quick Claw activates, so it's more than likely, Quick Draw, Quick Claw. So it activates and it's able to knock out the Latios with an Ice Punch, and then it activates again and it's able to knock out Heatran with an Earthquake. And their opponent finally goes into Gastrodon, clicks Scald on another curse, and then on a quick draw is able to click Drain Punch before the Gastrodon just clicks Clear Smog. So now it is reset as it goes for another Scald into the Claydol that comes in. Claydol more than likely just wanting to get Stealth Rock up, but it does trick a Choice Scarf. So on the incoming Superior, so Superior now has a Choice Scarf on it, and Claydol is able to take Superior's leftovers. So it does just click Leaf Storm to knock it out there, and it is now at +2, faster than everything. Dragapult does come in, forgetting that it is Scarfed, attempting to U-turn before it. But here, again, they click U-turn, do a nice like 67%, right? Like 2/3 of its health, go into Slowbro, and the Slowbro is like 4/4 on its quick draw and is able to knock it out with a nice punch. In comes Gliscor instead of just Gastrodon, so they're able to just get a curse up. Maybe they were expecting the Slowbro to want to switch out, fearing a Earthquake, but they do just overpick that there. Gastrodon just clicks Scald on the second curse, and it does get an unfortunate burn against it. Well, fortunate for his opponent, fortunate for him, who then is able to just click Clear Smog again to reset its stat changes. And then here he's just letting it go down, just spamming Drain Punch, waiting for it to be knocked out by the burn. But yeah, I mean that Slowbro not either did Quick Claw or Quick Draw like every turn it was in. So it is knocked out by the burn damage as Gastrodon just recovers against it. Kartana comes in, clicks Swords Dance on a Gliscor who comes in, and then they just switch out at +2 into their Tapu Fini. Fini goes ahead and clicks Ice Beam on the Gastrodon coming in, and then they switch out into their Grimmsnarl. Gastrodon just get a critical hit Scald as Grimmsnarl goes ahead and sets up Light Screen. So after they set up that Light Screen, they go into their Kartana, who dodges getting burnt due to Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain. And then here they click Swords Dance instead of just knocking it out first with a Leaf Blade, as it is a big threat and it unfortunately does get burnt. So it only does 34% to the incoming Gliscor. Here, I mean, they definitely should have attempted to set up another Swords Dance just to get more damage on, but they do just click Leaf Blade as the Gliscor clicks Earthquake and then Roosts, and then at the end there they click Knockoff on yet another Roost. And then before the Kartana is knocked out by the burnt, they click Leaf Blade and do get a critical hit, but again the Gliscor just clicks Roost. That is in no danger of being knocked out. Then comes Tapu Fini to more than likely click Ice Beam again, but they go ahead and go Dragapult first, who clicks Phantom Force on Gastrodon's Scald, which does miss. So Phantom Force does a solid 47% as they're just clipping Scald and recover, right, as they're not really in danger. So here they go ahead and Scald first and then recover on the turn that it is not coming out, and they do get a critical hit on the Gastrodon with that Phantom Force. And then Grimmsnarl is able to come in, click Taunt against it, click Spirit Break twice, and knocks it out as it does dodge getting burnt by the Scald. So here Gliscor comes in, Grimmsnarl does click Reflect to try and make his physical attacks weaker, as the Gliscor sets up a substitute, who then clicks Earthquake against Tapu Fini. So to break the substitute, Tapu Fini clicks Ice Beam, takes another Earthquake, who then knocks out the Gliscor with that second Ice Beam. So it looks like they're locked into that Ice Beam. They're probably scarfed, so they have to switch out as the Ice Q gets a belly drum up. Grimmsnarl does click Taunt to prevent a substitute from coming up, and then is knocked out by an Icicle Spear. And then Tapu Fini does miss a roll, it looks like, on the Ice Cube, who lives on 3%, and then just knocks it out with an Icicle Spear. Well, not quite. It does get to live the first one due to the Reflect, but since it did get that Select Berry off of living the Moonblast, it is able to knock it out. So, Gastrodon is able to pick up 3 knockouts, but it does go down. Ice Cube is able to pick up 2, and Superior is able to pick up 1. And then for his opponent, the same thing. Galarian Slowbro is able to pick up 3 knockouts and is knocked out. Grimmsnarl takes 1, and Tapu Fini also takes 1 and is knocked out. So, for kill leaders, we have tied at first place. We have Mega Abomasnow and Celesteela, both with 5 knockouts each. Then Urshifu trailing right behind them with 4. This is single strike Urshifu. And then tied for 4th place, we have... Okay, well, this graphic is wrong. The only ones that should be tied for 4th are Mega Altaria and Alolan Marowak, both at 3 knockouts with no deaths. And then tied at 6th are both the Gastrodon and the Galarian Slowbro with 3 knockouts and 1 death each, which isn't shown for the Gastrodon. Tied at 8th, we have Ice-Q and Tapu Lele, both with 2 knockouts each, and then trailing right behind are a bunch of other Pokemon. But since Darmanitan was the first in the alphabetical order, it is the one that gets shown off here. So Darmanitan with 2 knockouts and 1 death is able to take that 10th place. And then here are the standings for week 1. We have at first place the Cheeky Cherums with their 6-0, myself trailing right behind with a 5-0, then the Quagsires with a 3-0, and on, right? So, playoff race right now. Obviously, this is only the first week, so this is very, very early. So I don't think, this week 1 is gonna tell you who exactly is gonna make playoffs or not. But so, division winners, we have myself and the Cheeky Cherums, and then trailing right behind as the wild cards are the Cinewood City Quagsires and the San Francisco Scizors on the Distortion Conference. And then for the Judgment Conference, division winners are the Fuchsia City Fletchenders and the LA Venusaurs. And then for wild cards are Toronto Razorleafs and the Saffron Stabilize. And the rest of the teams are currently out of playoffs, right? That is, if we were able to stop the league at the first week, right? But obviously that's not what we're doing. So, yeah guys, with that out of the way, that has been the weekly recap for the first week. Again, I will be posting the power rankings combined with the weekly recap for future weeks. So, that out of the way guys, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this type of content. If you do, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe, which really helps me out. So yeah guys, this has been Christian Deputy. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.